So thank you all for coming. That's the end of sort of the formal presentation and remarks. I'm happy to take a couple questions, and Terry Legner and John Gant could answer a couple questions too, depending on the questions you have. And then we'll break up and let people talk individually. Are there any questions here? Yeah, Jim.
Just want to make sure I know where things stands now. Is any part of the network working at this time, or is everything set for next year?
That's a great question. So the question, if you didn't hear it, was, is any part of the network working now, or is all of this happening next year in 2013? And the original UC2B grant-funded project, that is proceeding on course, as is. So this year, in 2012, the original grant-funded census tracts will continue to be built out and plugged in. Homes will get plugged in, churches will get plugged in, community organizations, the Boys and Girls Club, Francis Nelson, all those hundreds of places. The grant project is proceeding very well, and the canvassers are going door to door and signing people up. You might have seen them today in the blue t-shirts. So that phase of the project is plowing ahead with the federal grant and the city's contributions to it.
Are some things plugged in and running right now?
This month is probably the first month when we'll see the first homes and businesses and anchor institutions plugged in for the grant-funded portion of UC2B. This private expansion opportunity would start next year. Construction would start in the spring after engineering over the winter. And so next year in 2013 is when the entire Champaign, Urbana, Savoy area would be able to start seeing connections happen. So if you live in one of those census tracts and are eligible for the grant, this expansion doesn't really apply to you. You should sign up for that grant and get your home plugged in this year, right away, as part of that grant for people who are eligible in those existing areas.
Is there any idea at this point, of course you won't really know until such time as you would have to go out for the RFPs, the difference between getting this from this, winning this contest and going, and the cost of going out for RFPs and trying to get hire private companies to build?
The question was, is there any difference between what would happen if we win the competition versus find another private partner through an RFP? So if we don't win the competition, we will try to find other private partners who would build out the network in Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy under these same terms. The same pricing and the same 4-year commitment to build an order of neighborhoods and build the whole town in 4 years. So we would seek to find a private partner who would provide the exact same private commitments as the competition.
And the same rate structure? And
the same rate structure, yeah. We would ask a private partner to do that same thing that the gigabit squared competition is offering to the community. And if we're not successful in finding that private partner, again, people's commitment fees would be fully refunded. But we would hope that even if we're not chosen as one of the winning 6, that we could find a private partner who would join us to do this project under these same terms. And we hope that we're one of the winning 6, and that that residents sign up and show that they want this, so that we can put our community at the top of the list. Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
One more question. That's fine. But then we'll take turns. Go ahead.
Does this work the same way for apartment dwellers as it does for homeowners?
It works slightly differently for apartment dwellers. We would like to talk to the owner or property manager of the apartment building. For homeowners associations, we would like to talk to the homeowners association, and the whole homeowners association could make a commitment together as a group, and then that whole neighborhood would just be built out all at once. So for people who live in apartments or homeowners associations, they should contact us. There's wording on the UC2B website to tell them, please get in touch by phone or email so we can talk about their specifics. If it's a duplex, it might be very similar to just the residential options. But if it's 10 big apartment buildings with hundreds of units, we'd like to talk to them to make sure they can sign up appropriately in this contest and help us win the competition and help win connectivity to all those apartment units.
So the competition is based on the number of residents that sign up. So basically the top 6 communities with the number of residents sign up will win.
The question was, is the competition based on how many people sign up? Or will the top 6 communities be the communities that have the most people sign up? It's actually based on a couple factors. That's one of them. But Urbana-Champaign already has a huge advantage in that part of the competition is what sort of infrastructure we bring to the table, and we already have a gigabit fiber optic backbone built with UC2B and with the federal grant dollars. So in that criteria, for that part of the competition, we're already way ahead of anywhere else in America. We're really unique in that we got federal funding to build this backbone all over the community that is community owned. So hopefully we'll get enough subscribers and people who sign up that we're in the top of the list in that category as well. But the competition is based on multiple factors. Yeah?
What are the other municipalities that are included in the pool of contestants for this?
Yes.
And then is the winning selection going to be based on total number or percentage of residents' population?
Okay, the question was, what are the other municipalities, and will the winning thing be based on percentage or total number of how many people sign up? The 36 other towns that are eligible to compete in this competition are 36 leading research universities that are part of a consortium called GIG-U. GIG-U is a consortium of leading research universities. The University of Illinois is a founding member of GIG-U, and it's a consortium that's trying to get university towns like ours to be at the cutting edge of having the world's leading broadband capacity. So all of the universities that have participated in GIG-U are eligible to enter this competition, and there's 36 of them. You can find a list online of the GIG-U universities. The competition in terms of who will be chosen as the winner is based on multiple factors. So it isn't just the percentage of people in Champaign-Urbana who commit or the raw number of homes who commit, but it is also based on other factors like the fact that we already have this backbone that really makes it easy to add more neighborhoods because we already have a backbone of fiber optics around Champaign-Urbana. So we hope that with residents signing up and businesses signing up and all the other things going for us that we can be one of the winning communities, but we need residents' help. Yeah?
When will you know the outcome of the competition?
Sometime this fall we'll know the outcome of the competition. And then planning work would happen over the winter and construction would begin in the spring of 2013. Reverend Bogan.
Worst case scenario, either we don't get the expansion of traffic, we don't get the park, how much more will this cost? And can a resident or business put in to the infrastructure of UC2B?
Worst case scenario, if we don't win the competition and we don't get another private partner to do the build out on these terms, people get the commitment fees fully refunded. So you get all your money back. Now, that would mean that our community would not yet have an option for every resident to be able to plug into gigabit fiber optics. We wouldn't be at the lead. So we really want to be a leading community here. There's only, you can count on one hand, the number of communities in the country today that can plug you into gigabit fiber optics at every residence, at every business. And so I hope we'll be one of the first and that we'll be successful in the competition.
So what is the value of this?
The value of the opportunity is that a couple things.
Now, if we have to purchase it ourselves, the dollar value of something.
You mean if the local community, if we found no private partner and if the local communities wanted to do this, the cost of hooking up homes or businesses for homes might be about $3,000 a piece. For businesses, even more expensive, it can depend. And so if the whole local community were to finance this construction project themselves with no private partner, it would be into the $50 million range, maybe higher, maybe lower, depending on exactly how many homes you plug in and what the take rate is. Because there is some cost per home or business to make the final line that runs from the curb to the home. So depending on estimates, and the private partner will be doing detailed engineering to plan out the exact construction and nail down the exact dollar amount here. But depending on estimates, it could be in that $50 million range. And so if no private partner were to do this, if we didn't win the competition or find another private partner to do this build out, then you're right. One of the community's options could be, can we try to finance this ourselves locally as a community, or the city governments could consider, I'm a city council member obviously, we could consider revenue bonds or other options to build this. But right now, this public-private partnership is so appealing because the private partner is willing to take on that risk and say, you know what, we're willing to make this big capital investment on the risk that we think people in Champaign-Urbana do want fast internet, that university towns are the towns that will want this the most in this country and that will sign up and will use this gigabit capacity. And so the private partner in this case is taking on that risk with no public dollars. Any other questions? Okay, great. I think we're done. People can mill around, ask questions, hang out. Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause, and please go online today.